I want to ask you a question. What does a company richer than 172 countries?
The world's biggest food company, Nestle.
Nestle.
The world's biggest food group, Nestle.
Nestle.
Hello, I'm Peter Pravik, the chairman of Nestle.
Another company which operates in 160 countries.
So, bottom line beat for Mondelez.
I love Oreos. At home, I eat them with peanut butter.
And a headline tonight rocketing around all day. A closer look at Oreo cookies and a new study tonight that suggests if you can't stop eating them, there's a reason.
Of Oreos, a study out of Connecticut College in New London found Oreos may be just as addictive as drugs.
People can be forced to working up to 60, 70 days.
We want to be treated like we're people instead of like slaves.
And a company so twisted that they control what consumers eat.
And privately held food corporation Cargill.
And a company in denial have in common. Let's find out. Let me say this archak, guys. This part is dark. In fact, it's closer to pitch black. It's so dark that you might stop eating chocolate after watching the video. That dark, plus disclaimer, it will send shivers down your spine. Let me change your perspective on chocolate. Let's start. Rotomagadi companies which control the chocolate market. So do you remember that painting, Yago Part 1? Well, I'm still painting, but this time, I'm painting on thin air, no canvas. After that, we will dive deeper into how the cocoa price drop negatively affected the cocoa farmers and led them to the solution which was engineered by your one and only Willy Wonka. After that, you will understand how unequal exchange, paired with economies heavily reliant on exporting raw materials, in this case, cocoa, ended up with most of these economies unable to develop the chocolate industry in their own markets, which led these economies to where they are today. Now that was too long, but this is what they actually want you to think. Only 40% of what I just said is actually true. You will know the full truth after watching the full video. After that, Rico discussed the solutions, like real solutions. I don't want to depress my audience, so Artomenga Nestle. Why Nestle? So Nestle, a company richer than 172 countries. If this company was a country, it would be the 44th richest country in the world. Imagine that, right after Chile. A company which has employed over 276,000 workers. That's like 8 or 9 Monacos. Is this a company or a mini-state? Well, it's both, with a lot, and I mean a lot of soft power. A company with a very dark history. It's so dark that they don't want consumers to know. The destroyer of the environment, Bona. Nestle and Coca-Cola are in a tug of war. And Dagabulelega business. Now, these two companies are on a race to see who will fuck up the environment first. A company which told Ethiopia to pay its debt back when Ethiopia was in the middle of a severe famine, and the justification this company used for demanding its repayment was, it was a matter of principle. Principle. Talk about twisted humor. And foreign like tea, this one truly encapsulates how Nestle operates. This scandal will show you how an evil company plus an evil business strategy can kill innocent babies.
For your special baby. More than 50 million babies have been raised on this form of milk.
Nestle is still the biggest manufacturer of breast milk substitutes.
The NGO War on Want went so far as to publish a leaflet saying Nestle's aggressive marketing strategy for its breast milk substitute was responsible for the death of children in third world countries. 2 Swiss companies are among the big brands, dairy producer Hochdorf and food giant Nestle. For Nestle, which is now in its 150th year, the product is still good business.
Foreign like tea. In the 1970s, news came to light that Nestle was aggressively marketing their breastfeeding substitutes in developing nations. They also say that Nestle would discourage mothers from breastfeeding, while at the same time suggesting that their baby formula was superior to breast milk.
Breast is best.
So I want you to ask yourself this question. Since mothers produce milk naturally, what business strategy did Nestle use to trap breastfeeding mothers into buying their baby formulas? Now listen to this one. Nestle would hook, by hook guys I really mean hook, breastfeeding mothers into buying their breastfeeding formulas by giving the breastfeeding mother enough baby formula to ensure that her body stops lactating or producing milk naturally. Damn it. So by the time the baby formula is empty, the mother would try to breastfeed the child. But the problem is that, as I stated, the body would have stopped producing milk naturally. And remember, an infant does not consume anything besides breast milk, thus forcing the mother to go and buy Nestle's baby formula. There's a thin line between a business strategy being shrewd and a business strategy being pure evil. This is evil. So I want you to ask yourself this question. How many children do you think died from this incident? Well, the exact number is still unknown to this day, but many children died. Scandal number 2, water war.
In a state infamous for its recent water scandals, Michigan is now under fire for approving a plan to allow the company Nestle to increase the amount of water it draws from the state. There are about 50 water bottling plants located across Michigan. Nestle says it wants to nearly double the amount of water it already draws daily from its existing source.
And now to Michigan, where tonight the fight is once again over water. The state just approved a new permit that would nearly double the amount that one global food giant is allowed to bottle and sell each year.
Michigan, a state surrounded by water, is drowning in controversy. For years, Nestle, the world's largest food and beverage company, has bottled Michigan's water for next to nothing and sold it at great profit. Now, the state has greenlit the company's request to pump even more, despite widespread opposition. And all Nestle has to pay for these millions of gallons of water it gets a year is $200.
There is a perception around the world that Nestle goes into poor communities with lax regulations, entices them with the promise of jobs, and then takes their water, sells it back to them at a profit. So you're not concerned that the area is being depleted at all by Nestle's pumping?
I'm not concerned that the area is being depleted.
I think Nestle should do.
Go home to Switzerland.
In 2005, the CEO of Nestle said that he believes that water, the most essential natural resource on earth, is not a human right. Why would the CEO of a big company say this? You will understand. Let me say, most bottled water is not different from tap water. The majority of the cost is from transportation and branding, so don't get fooled with these ads.
This is where everything starts. It's different here. The future is built every day.
For those who want to make the right choices every day. Choices that bring out the sparkle in you and those that are inspired by you.
Around the world, Nestle owns and operates 49 different water brands. And the craziest part is that Nestle pays close to nothing. In fact, they pay pennies on the dollar. Not pennies, but 1/10 of each and every penny. Yeah, that's right. In some states in the US like Michigan, where the company paid $200 annually in permit fees to pump out 130 million gallons. Now, what the fudge is this? This imperial system, I mean 492 million liters. It actually makes sense. Just to give you a picture, an Olympic-sized swimming pool can hold up to 660,000 gallons. Not this imperial system again. I mean 2.5 million liters. Calculation time. If you take 492 million liters and then you divide it by 2.5 million liters, you will get 196 Olympic-sized swimming pools. It's the same with the imperial system. So imagine paying $200 for 196 Olympic-sized swimming pools annually.
In a state infamous for its recent water scandals, Michigan is now under fire for approving a plan to allow the company Nestle to increase the amount of water it draws from the state.
And now to Michigan, where tonight the fight is once again over water. The state just approved a new permit that would nearly double the amount that one global food giant is allowed to bottle and sell each year. Meanwhile, some residents say their water levels are dropping as never before.
Our conservation made noise about how you can tell the water has gone down, and right away they offered to replace the structures.
At the next public meeting, they made that offer.
Do you want them to do that?
No.
Why?
Because it would destroy this evidence here.
How much water are they getting from this well?
500 gallons per minute.
And what are they paying for that?
$3.50 per thousand.
That sounds like a good deal for Nestle. And all Nestle has to pay for these millions of gallons of water it gets a year is $200. In 2016, the company reportedly sold more than $343 million of Michigan water under its Ice Mountain and Pure Life labels. Did Nestle effectively buy out your town? Jobs. That's what this tiny town of Everett had hoped for. More than 44% of residents here live below the poverty line, but it's rich in water. And for over a decade, Nestle has been purchasing a lot of that water from two of the town's municipal wells.
Imagine the profit margins. Let's just say 1 liter costs 15 rands. Calculate that. You should also take into account the operational costs, transportation, the average profit margin. I'm done. All of that for $200. Talk about a deal of a lifetime. All that water for $200. But this will get you thinking for how dumb, orchestrated are these people? By that I mean the government. All that water for that amount.
How much water are they getting from this well?
500 gallons per minute.
And what are they paying for that?
$3.50 per thousand.
That sounds like a good deal for Nestle.
Do these people even read the contracts that they sign? Man, this deal to me sounds like an advance from a record label. They will usually take more than what they have actually given you. And from a company standpoint, this is a very beautiful deal. Very rare. A deal of a lifetime. Now, if this was my company and one of my executives made that deal, give that nigga a promotion. It's more money for the company, right? But what actually matters to you? Principles or profit? Did you get that? Two perspectives. P639. It depends on which side you are in. If you're the government, you will say this company has invested in the country while pumping out the water like there's no tomorrow, depleting the water table, all that boring shit, up until it really starts to matter.
Despite hopes, Nestle never built a factory in Everett. The few jobs that exist here are at the transfer station. But Everett residents Marianne Borden and her daughter Rhonda feel differently.
Okay, they built new softball diamonds across the street from us, but we already had softball diamonds over at the fairgrounds. I mean, the things that they say they've given us, and maybe they're a little nicer, but we already had those things.
Locals we spoke to accuse Nestle of trying to cover up traces of environmental damage by offering to replace local infrastructure, like this culvert, where water markings show how levels have dropped significantly over time.
So the water used to be up that high, now it's this low?
2 feet higher.
Okay.
Which would have placed it up above the stones here.
So you guys, Michigan Citizens for Water Conservation, made noise about how you can tell the water has gone down, and right away they offered to replace the structures?
At the next public meeting, they made that offer.
Do you want them to do that?
No.
Why?
Because it would destroy this evidence here.
Wait, so what if they actually want to deplete your water resources so that you could end up buying Nestle's water bottles? Oh man.
Why are you opposed to what Nestle's doing here?
Well, we're opposed to bottled water, and we're opposed to privatizing water. They're taking the water, putting it in plastic bottles, selling it outside of the watershed, and making a huge profit off of water that doesn't belong to them.
But it does not matter. Man, come on, man. Tax money is coming in.
So what is in it for the city of Everett then?
The revenue we generate annually from them.
How much is that?
I just looked at the numbers for 2017. Basically, we generated $313,000.
I mean, it's more like change the pennies too, because these companies, they don't really like paying taxes. They call it tax avoidance, while possibly destroying your environment. And I environmentalist, no. And from a company standpoint, this legal entity just made an amazing deal. And that's only one case. I can discuss many scandals about Nestle's water decisions. But there are many. You can research this subject matter on your own, like what Nestle did in the small Pakistani community. I'm going to butcher this one, Pati Dilwan. The second company on my hit list, Mondelez.
A crispy biscuit, a wholesome snack bar, a delicious bite of chocolate. More and more people are snacking more and more often. At home, at work, and everywhere in between. At Mondelez International.
So bottom line, Beat, for Mondelez.
Mondelez.
I love Oreos. At home, I eat them with peanut butter.
And a headline tonight rocketing around all day. A closer look at Oreo cookies and a new study tonight that suggests if you can't stop eating them, there's a reason.
Of Oreos, a study out of Connecticut College in New London found Oreos may be just as addictive as drugs.
People can be forced to working up to 60, 70 days.
We want to be treated like we're people instead of like slaves.
So Mondelez is a juggernaut in its own right. I mean, it operates in more than 160 countries. It's everywhere. Soft power check. Uncle Ben's last words to Peter Parker were, great power comes with great exploitation or something like that. But this company has a tendency of holding on to the old tradition of the free market competitive labor. You know what I mean? By that, era slavery. Do you know that Cadbury used to own slave cocoa plantations such Ukwa, and one of the companies owned by Mondelez treats its employees like slaves.
People can be forced to working up to 60, 70 days.
We want to be treated like we're people instead of like slaves.
You know, these aren't jokes, these are thoughts, these are things that make you say.
As I said, this company has a tendency of holding on to the good free old days. Now, enjoy your Oreo.
I love Oreos. At home, I eat them with peanut butter.
With a glass of ignorance.
Ah! First you twist it. And then then you dunk it.
Oops, I mean milk. Sorry guys. This company loves competitive labor. You know what I mean? Because all of Mondelez chocolate companies still indirectly fund systems which employ children, child slavery, cheaper than China's average wage. Oops, I mean competitive labor. Now the craziest part is that this company is in denial about child slavery in the cocoa industry. Wabona, denial is not just a revenue JP. In this capitalist system, your wage, income, call it whatever you want to call it, is exploitation.
What do you mean by that?
Bona, I'll give you an example. At the automotive industry in SA, Bona, an engineer who works in Germany, let's say BMW, will always earn higher than an engineer who works at the very same company who resides in SA, nigga, down to PA. Now, what do you call that? Globalization? They will say lack of skill. No. Let's call a spade a spade. That's X something, exploitation. So you might ask yourself the most essential question. Why won't these companies pay their workers minimum wage? So I'll tell you what economic textbooks won't say. Globalization exploitation, guys. And on steroids. To make an iPhone in America would cost Apple billions, like small economic kind of billions. And I'm not talking about the production costs, but get at the labor behind the production.
An ABC News exclusive. For the first time ever, a journalist was allowed inside the secret factory in China where Apple iPhones and iPads are made. In recent weeks, a number of reports have raised serious questions about the workers there, the long hours, the pressures, the low pay, the life.
This is iPhone City, a Foxconn manufacturing campus in Zhengzhou, China, with a population of as much as 300,000, the size of Pittsburgh. The facility at one point made 85% of the Pro lineup of iPhones.
Your daughter is cute, naughty, she says, which is poignant since her kids live 2 hours away and she can afford to see them just once a month. But this is typical for most of the 235,000 who work in this one Foxconn complex. Many leave distant villages where families live in rooms like this.
How do you stay warm?
To share a dorm room like this with 7 strangers. Foxconn attracts a lot of business by having workers close to the assembly line. Most of the people at Foxconn earn just over $2 an hour and strive for a 60-hour work week. These people are all too easy to exploit. And ever since 18 Foxconn workers jumped from these buildings, Apple has been accused of doing just that. The suicide nets are still in place, just in case.
I'll make a video on this system one day, I promise. So the third company, ke Cargill. Utlwela pila, listen closely. In Wilmington, one of the biggest tax havens in the world, but we are not talking about that. In Wilmington, Delaware, there is a company which in 2018 had more revenue than the world's biggest companies, like the first company we discussed, and Coke, and has control of what consumers eat. Hacker control, I mean control. They supply the world's biggest companies with their products, from Mars to McDonald's to Dunkin' Donuts, Bona, Unilever, and the list is long. And many consumers buy products produced by this company without even knowing it. Bona, it's not like this company is going around placing their brand logos on products that they produced. Have you ever seen a Cargill logo on Kellogg's? No, but they deal with everything from your favorite ingredients like starch, vegetable oil, and fats for application in processed foods and industry use, which most consumers fail to see the technology behind this food. They also deal with trading in energy. And this company is totally private, you know, the works. So let's call it a mini state. No, a state controlled by a single family, the Cargill family, and you've never heard about them. Listen, this company is dark, Leona. Bona, to give you a picture of what I'm trying to describe. Bona, if Cargill was a person, I would call him a sick psychopath with sadistic tendencies. So, ufikile mo the end. So you have reached this part. Thank you guys. So thank you. So, who would have thought? Or the companies they did that dark? Or the companies they did dark so? From Nestle, a company richer than most countries, 196 countries to be exact. To Mondelez get the love, the simp, yeah, the good free all days.
Yes, simp for me, daddy.
To Cargill, well, Bobo creator Cargill very hush. But don't let that fool you guys. If company in Gabriel Moto, I would describe him as a sick psychopath with sadistic tendencies. You see, these dark anchors, these sharks, use their global reach and their size to muzzle emerging markets into basically kissing their ring, to continue with the status quo, the enemies of change. This is why I had to make this video into 3 parts. The truth is, while I was in the process of making the second part, I realized something, that I could not summarize the industry like most of these YouTubers do. I'm not shaming them, I'm not. I actually want my audience to understand the full scope of this industry, which is why the video was this long. I had to show you guys how these companies are holding what we covered. Wait, this is how you describe a dragon. These companies get a dragon. Smaug, got the Lord of the Rings. I hope lang twar. So guys, for me, and only me, no OnlyFans. Hope you hit that subscribe button if you found this video thought-provoking and informative. Hit that like button if my video changed your perspective on these dark anchors. And hit that notification bell if you want some more. I'm sorry, it was a small dish. So the next part is hit that naughty bell. On that part, we will be dealing exclusively with cocoa. I mean it, like deep dive and net. Iceberg information you won't find anywhere else. But here, a critical view on the whole industry. Expose. Exploiting West Africa, child slavery, tsokolo, inequality.
In the world's poorest countries, around 1 in 4 children are engaged in child labour. That's according to UNICEF, the UN's Child Aid Fund. In particular, cases of child slavery in the cocoa production industry have, in recent years, become more prominent.
According to Ghana's small cocoa farmers, there is no future in cocoa farming anymore. The price is set too low for them to even make a living.
Spoilers, but anyway, on a grand scale, price manipulation and collusion. Spoilers. All of that in the next video, the final part. This time, I mean it. I know guys, it's been a long time, busy guys. I love making these videos. Floppo, I'm really busy this year. Entrepreneurship, and come with this channel, which I love dearly. I'm trying by all my means to utilize a spare time suck into creating more thought-provoking videos with a new lens like this. And I need a PA. I'm still learning how to manage my time. I have to be honest with you guys. So don't forget to share this video. I'm actually hoping in your inner circle you actually covered knowledge. So share it with them. Share it with your family. Let your other half too. You're not a dragon. You're not Smaug. Smaug will hoard what I just shared. Ukonna selfish ka knowledge. I hope o savant. Kaure savants share knowledge. Remember that. So I'll see you on the next video. This is the part where I say na cancer. Ngiyabonga dangi kaleboha. And thank you. And kelebela support from the first video, guys. It really means a lot. Lemapara straight. So enjoy yourselves. As the critical thinkers, stay safe. Kikalabona next year. And guys, I'll the link below on everything we discussed about these companies. Naki economic savant, Kimfana Sosha, Kimfana Kahasi, and I sting like a cold breeze. See you on the next video.